Happy Thursday. Welcome to the 734, your home for hot takes and hot weather. It is smoking hot out there, isn't it? Great to have you with us today. I'm Jason DeRusha. I'm not late. You're late. Or I'm on time. This thing starts when I show up, right? Isn't that how it works? We got a lot going on here at the station. We're busy. You're busy. All right. Never too busy to share the weather forecast with you. Here you go. 7:30 forecast. I'm over it. I got to be honest. I like summer to be hot. It's summer. But how many days in a row of this do we need? It's not good bike riding weather. It's not good gardening weather. Who's it good for? Mosquitoes. That's who loves it. 90 today. Heat advisory starting this afternoon because heat indices will be close to 100 degrees. It's going to be like this the next week, really. We'll pretend on the news that it's going to cool down because the high, on Monday, will be 88. But if you can detect the difference between an 87-degree high and a 91-degree high, congratulations, you're a human thermometer. So I salute you. Let's talk about this. The Trump administration promising a massive 4th of July celebration. Coronavirus? Anybody? Interior Secretary says they're going to have a big party on the National Mall. Feature one of the largest fireworks displays ever. I love fireworks. I'm excited to watch that on TV. They're going to give away 300,000 face masks if that many people show up. There's no requirement that people wear them. But it's outdoors. We seem to think that it's safer to be outdoors. We've seen the protests. All those people outdoors haven't, as far as we know, seen a direct link between those protests and any sort of spike in cases. Vanilla Ice skyrocketing back into America's consciousness. If you're like me, you've wondered, gosh, what is Vanilla Ice doing? Didn't he have a DIY series, a home improvement series on HGTV or something like that? Ice is back, baby. He's holding a 4th of July concert because nothing says America like a one-hit wonder from the 90s. He announced on Instagram he's going to hold this outdoor Independence Day throwback concert in Austin, Texas tomorrow, featuring hits from the 90s because that's the only decade he had a hit. So what do you think? Would you go to a Vanilla Ice concert? Would you do an outdoor celebration? If you had to pick one, would you go to the party on the National Mall or to hear Ice is back? It's a win all the way around as far as I can tell. So share your comments on Facebook. We'll read a few in a moment. In totally unrelated news, we have hit a new single-day record for coronavirus cases, more than 50,000 reported nationwide. And guess who is being blamed for this increase? Young adults. The median age for positive cases in June was 38, which led to a pretty strong warning from Minnesota's Commissioner of Health, telling young people, you are not invincible.
If you're visiting bars and restaurants, spread out, wear a mask, carry hand sanitizer with you. And even if you may be statistically less likely to get really sick from COVID, you do risk spreading it to people who are more vulnerable.
That as Minnesota deals with clusters of COVID-19 cases. They're really tracking these cases back to Mankato, Minneapolis, and St. Cloud bars. Anybody surprised that when a bunch of people are gathering together in a bar inside that people are getting coronavirus? Jen Malcolm saying, hey, if you're going to get together this weekend, do it outdoors and be socially distanced. Here's the update on the total number of cases. We have had few deaths, and that is really good news. 4 new deaths reported in Minnesota, all people in long-term care facilities. We just can't seem to get that under control. In Wisconsin, 2 more people, just 2 from the virus. But another 540 people testing positive. In Wisconsin, what they're doing is they're shutting down the bars. Dane County, which is the county that holds Madison, Wisconsin, bars and restaurants being ordered to decrease their capacity ahead of the holiday weekend. Public health officials say that, it's the bars. That's where they trace where these cases come from. And it is, according to the health officials, tracking back to bars and restaurants, young people. So no indoor service at bars, restaurants down to just 25% capacity, which I don't know how you make money being at 25% capacity. California's governor going even farther, Gavin Newsom, announcing a 3-week ban on bars, indoor restaurant dining, and some other activities in 19 different counties. So they're targeting counties there. California is such a big state. For sure, different coronavirus situation way in Northern California versus some of these hot spots. So that is what's going on there. After months of mixed messages, and by mixed messages, we mean President Trump thumbing his nose at the idea of wearing a mask, now the president is saying masks are good. They're all right. He's talking with Fox Business News yesterday. President said, yeah, I would absolutely wear one in a tight situation. You know, the truth is, like, remove your politics from this. The president is tested for coronavirus all the time. He is certainly different from most of us who have no idea if we have the virus or not. So looking at the president, it's more about whether you want him to be a role model, not whether or not a mask would really make a difference for him wearing them. He did go on to say that he doesn't support a national mask order. States and cities have been deciding on their own. One of those cities, Edina, the mayor issuing an executive order in Edina saying everybody has to wear a face covering indoors. But the mayor of Edina doesn't have a lot of power in this, and so he can only issue an executive order that lasts 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the coming week. Edina City Council will talk on Wednesday. They'll decide whether or not to extend it beyond the 3-day limit. They've got exceptions like going to a rec center. You don't have to wear a mask while you're actually feeding yourself, while you're eating. Kids under 5 also don't have to wear one. Minneapolis Park Board yesterday had a tough decision to make. Do we let people who are experiencing homelessness continue to set up these massive tent encampments in city parks? Coronavirus has really limited shelter capacity, more people out of work. So we've seen parks become places of refuge. And the Park Board 2 weeks ago decided it's fine, we're not going to bust people out of there. At their meeting yesterday, they considered a limit of 10 tents in 10 parks only. But a lot of social service advocates saying, look, we don't have capacity. If you kick all these people out, like, what are we supposed to do about it? So they voted 5-4, very close vote, to keep things the way they are. Blaming the impact of COVID-19, Health Partners says it is permanently closing 9 clinics. This is somewhat interesting because what we've seen, and here's the list: Shorewood, Cottage Grove, Highland Park, St. Paul, Riverside, Minneapolis, other locations around the state. Health Partners saying, yeah, some people are going to be laid off, but we're trying to shift people around as much as possible. Company saying the closings will put it in a better position to meet community needs. Fine, that's what a company would say. But really, this is a debate in the healthcare community. They have set up all these retail clinics, all in every community, trying to, you know, it's a business, right? Like, they're trying to provide services to people in their towns, but also today they're seeing this huge increase in people doing online visits. So we will see what happens. But all of the health groups, Alina, Fairview, have had temporary closures of clinics. And so Health Partners making some official. Minnesota Lynx star Maya Moore saw her mission come to fruition. This is just a great story. She sat out last season, which we were bummed about, right? Because we love her on the Lynx. But she was fighting for justice for Jonathan Irons, who is serving a 50-year prison sentence for burglary and a shooting in Missouri. And Maya Moore believed that Irons was innocent. Yesterday, he walked free. Maya Moore there to greet him as he left prison. Irons was convicted originally in 1998, but in March that conviction was vacated. The judge said, look, Maya Moore, you're right. There were problems with the initial investigation, problems with the trial. So that moment, as they see each other and he has freedom. Moore continuing to take this season off as well. She's going to keep advocating for criminal justice reform. Great role model there as she is choosing to make a difference in the world rather than chasing what was her lifelong dream of being a professional basketball player. Walmart getting into the drive-in theater business. Nation's biggest retailers teamed up with Tribeca Enterprises to turn 160 of its parking lots into drive-in theaters this summer. Walmart's going to do family-friendly movies running from August to October. The exact locations have not yet been announced, but a pretty good idea there for Walmart. All right, let's get back to today's talker. Are you ready to go to Vanilla Ice? What is it? It's something what's his first name? Robert Van Winkle, right? Vanilla Ice. Back in the day, I knew all the lyrics to Ice Ice Baby. was quite a jam, quite a power jam in the high school, early college years for me.
You rocked the mic like a vandal. Now like a grandal.
All right, Eric, are people ready? Are they choosing Ice Ice Baby or Americana on the National Mall?
Well, Cindy says, I don't know who Vanilla Ice is.
There we go. Come on, Cindy.
But I don't want to risk getting COVID.
Come on.
What it's like.
Open another tab and Google it. Like, really. There he is.
Diana says, I am mentally ready for going out and doing things, but I'm forcing myself to slow it down.
Yeah. Hip hop hooray.
We're all kind of
ho, hey, ho.
Is this your own personal house of pain?
Yes. Oh, my.
Leanne says, if thousands of people can be outside protesting, why won't we be able to go out for that?
I think that's a fair question, right? If we believe that the protest, if we believe what health officials are telling us, which I have some questions about, because they seem real quick to blame the restaurants and the bars for the coronavirus cases. Are we sure it wasn't protest? But it seems like, you know, if that's what their contract tracing says, then I guess you should feel good going out to the National Mall.
And last but not least, John says, I love when the B-roll video for these stories loops multiple times.
Yeah, that's how you know I'm talking too much.
You're talking really loud.
Yeah, I talk a lot. It's fine. Isn't that the fun of this? Or is that just for me? Don't respond. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from you. John, is that who's talking about the B-roll looping?
Yeah.
You know what? Why don't you come here and do this, John? That's it. 7:34. See you tomorrow.